10 LO3 homicide statistics presentation by Jeanette Williams. This shows over the last 10 years how many homicides there have been in the UK. So it shows from 2008 to 2018. However, the 2018 figures were not complete at the time of my researching in early 2019. As you can see, the 2016 statistics were the most, with 3,425 homicides occurring. This can also be seen in my graph, where it is clear that there are definitely more homicides taking place in 2016 than in any other year on the graph. So this is an analysis of all of the differences in years and how there was in 2008 there was 2,878 homicides, and this number dropped in 2013 by 816. Showing that this was the lowest number of homicides that occurred. Overall, 1,300 more homicides were committed in 2016 than the very, very lowest, which occurred in 2014, which was 2,062 homicides. So what police force area in the UK has the most homicides? These are in alphabetical order from A to Z. So this shows from British Transport Police, who only had 119, and the City of London, who only had 43 actual homicides take place in that police force area. However, in the Metropolitan Police, they had 5,076 homicides take place over the last 10 years. This is considerably more than anywhere else in the UK. As this graph shows, it is considerably higher than everywhere else in the UK. It sticks out like a complete sore thumb. Whereas some of the lowest only had double figures, whereas Metropolitan Police had quadruple figures, as shown here. This highlights how much actually was different. Which police force area of the UK has had the least amount of homicides in the last 10 years? It was the City of London, with only 43 homicides occurring in the last 10 years, which you can see here. Then, as you can see, there we go. So yeah, only 43 homicides in the City of London in the last 10 years. However, looking at the region of the UK that's had the most homicide rate over the last 10 years, it was the Northwest. They had 3,928 homicides over the last 10 years, which is quite high. So we are obviously excluding London there, but because London does have the highest amount, however the Northwest as a region did have the most amount. I just put London in to show how many overall homicides London actually had, but it's not classed as a region. But yeah. Then in which region was the lowest amount of homicides? Again, that was the British Transport Police, with only 119 homicides occurring in the last 10 years. Very, very low on the graph there. Yeah, so had 1,008 less homicides than the second lowest region. So which quarter of the year do you tend to get murdered around most in the UK? It is the first quarter, between the 1st of January and the 31st of March. Over the last 10 years, 6,909 people have been killed, whereas the least amount is the fourth quarter. So the first quarter is the most likely, second quarter is the second most likely, the third quarter is the third most likely, and the fourth quarter is the least likely. Yeah. Then this just shows the number of homicide per quarter. It's quite a significant difference between the first and second quarter compared to the third and the fourth quarter. Yeah, so only 20 more homicides occurred in the first quarter than the second quarter. How many homicides have occurred in London? 5,019 homicides have occurred in London over the last 10 years. So that's how many homicides have happened over the last 10 years. And then these are the homicides that happen each year, with 2012 being the lowest. A probable cause of that is the Olympics taking place, and the 2018 data wasn't complete when I made this presentation, so it is also quite low, but will have gone up considerably since I have made this, with 2008 being when most homicides were committed in London. In Wales, 1,258 homicides have been committed in the last 10 years. So this is homicides committed yearly in the region of Wales. Again, the 2018 data was not completed. They had the least amount of homicides occurring in 2014 and the most occurring in 2010, which can be displayed in the graph. So between London and Wales, comparing them, you are statistically 25%. You've got a 25% chance of being the victim of a homicide in Wales over a 10-year period, which is 10% more likely than being a victim of homicide in London over a 10-year period, which is only 16%. However, 3,861 more people were killed in London than Wales. This is because of the higher population density. However, statistically, you are more likely to be killed in Wales, be the victim of homicide in Wales, than you are in London. There's a graph showing that there. But again, that's just because of the higher population density. Which years over the last 10 years have had the highest number of homicides? That was 2016, of course, with the lowest being 2014. That is a graph to show. It's got a nice downward curve, which swoops up in 2016, right around the time of Brexit happening. So yeah, 2016 had the highest number of homicides. Which year over the last 10 years had the lowest? 2014. Then this is a screenshot of the Excel document that I used. This is before the filter that I used was applied. This was after the filter that I used was applied, so I filtered them at the top so I could make sure that I could only see homicide statistics, whereas before I could see any offence that was given, but after I just saw the homicide statistics. You can program the filters how you want, so you can select to see only Wales and select to see only the northwest, so you can scroll to see data how you want it to be seen. You can also calculate the number of homicides throughout regions by using the sum equals sum if, and then you choose the region that you want, which was CC for what I was doing. You choose I, so I, and then I used I2 for the British Transport Police, and then EE to work out how many people were killed, and you do that for every region, and it will quickly tell you how many homicides occurred. And then again, that's the same happening but for the police force area. Applying the sum code, you're able to see the total amount of homicides, so that's the total amount of homicides for the region the police force area completed there. So you can highlight the data set and it will automatically create a graph for you so that you do not have to manually input all of the data. It means that you don't get any of the data wrong as well. Thank you for listening.